What's up, you guys? We're back with another video, week 17, NFL videos, Beat the Odds NFL edition on Odds Checker. We have a great great week of games coming up this week. So what do you guys have for us this week? But before we get started, how did we do?
I did okay. I was 2-1 so far. I had my big pick of the week, which was the Cowboys -9.5. That line got up to 10.5. I still pounded it, and then went back down to 9.5. Still pounded it. So I'm pretty happy with that. We'll see how the Saints do tonight. I took the Saints -3 last Tuesday. They are now +3 because it's the Fighting Ian Books. So we'll see how I finish the week. But 2-1's not bad.
I'm at 1-2. I took San Francisco. Not great. That was early in the week.
I don't blame you on that one, though.
Yeah, I took San Francisco, and then I took Arizona. And I made a mistake on the Arizona thing. I saw Indianapolis' entire offensive line out and still messed that one up. So I'm hoping for New Orleans tonight.
I took the Patriots. I'm done choosing the Patriots, so not doing it this week.
Just licking our wounds.
Yeah. But hoping for a better week, so let's get started. What do you guys have for us this week?
Yeah, first off, I actually like a couple, and again, this has kind of been where I've been going the last few weeks, is really picking more heavy favorite types, and that's going to keep it up this week. I'm going to start with what I think is a very strange line to me anyways. I am going to go with the Rams -3.5 at the Ravens. Not for... You got to credit this for Ravens franchise and coaching staff for just even getting a little confident with how many injuries they have. But it's I think right now these teams are about 2 tiers apart. I know Rams are going to have to go West Coast to East Coast. They'll travel on Friday. They'll be fine. But yeah, I'm going to go Rams -3.5. As long as they can withstand, a couple dummy Stafford plays, they're fine. I think it's a good team. They just had a win over the Vikings. I'm going to rewatch that this week. But yeah, Rams -3.5 for the Ravens. I just think it's kind of strange. I'm a little spooked by how low this line is because I think it should be a little bit higher than it is right now.
I have a line. It's not as drastic as those teams, but Philadelphia -3.5 at Washington, same line. It's hard to watch that Sunday night football game and think Washington isn't done playing football for the season. I mean,
fighting on the sideline.
The fighting on the sideline, Malik from the Packers practice squad ended up going for like a 60-yard run or a 60-yard, catch and run.
Yeah.
It's bad. When Cooper Rush comes into the game and the team gets ejected and they're like, whole sideline is going crazy and they're like, yeah, let's go score. Let's get tape. And Washington's defense just doesn't want to be there. That's always a bad sign. Washington is basically knocked out of the playoff race now. Philadelphia is full-blown motivated. They control their destiny to a certain extent in terms of the playoff race, especially, if New Orleans drops that game tonight, Philadelphia will have that inside track for the 7th seed. So I think this is a tale of 2 different teams going 2 completely different directions right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Eagles have the all-encompassing momentum right now. They got good vibes all around right now. You can just tell with that whole team. Yeah, Washington's fighting on the sideline. They're beaten up. They're playing a 4-string, 5th-string center who moonlights as a male model. Did you see that? He's a plus-size model, which is awesome.
I did. We had him in the XFL.
Oh, that's right. Yes. You did. Yeah, you got experience with them. Yeah, of course you got the resume. Yeah, that was when Cooper Rush is putting out a resume builder, for tape for whatever team he signs with next. Yeah, you never want to be on the receiving end of that. Well, speaking of that Sunday night game, and teams going in 2 different directions, I'm sounding like my other friend Robert Mays, how I'm tying this in. I'm going to go with the Cowboys -5 hosting the Cardinals. I think this Cowboys team, I didn't know they would drop a 50 burger on somebody, but I really thought this team was sitting on a big game, just like they had last night. I really think, Dak is fully healthy. I think they've honed in on what their offensive line is, honed in on how to use their 3 receivers, because they don't want to go as much 12 personnel as they did before. I think they're a really good team, especially with the defense they have as well. I think that on the flip side, the Cardinals have they flatlined a little bit. I don't think they're a bad team, but I just think they're just still finding their way in week 17. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys -5 at home. Hopefully they didn't blow their load all last night, but they still saved a little bit, some points in the tank for this next game.
That was actually my pick of the week, so I'll just add on to there.
Nice.
I'm going with the Cowboys too, -5.5. Cowboys don't have to worry about DeAndre Hopkins. He's on IR, so they're going to create havoc in the pocket and force Murray to make those mistakes and then just kind of explode with their offense. So I think it's kind of Dallas got it in the bag. So Dallas -5.5. Hopefully. I don't want to jinx us.
Yeah, exactly.
So to add on to this,
Yeah.
I am also taking this game.
Nice.
Tyler is a small guy. He gets banged up, and when he loses teammates, he ends up being a small banged up guy running around in the backfield. And I feel like this happens every year, and I forget about it. And I lost money on Arizona last week, so if I lose it again, I'm gonna be pretty mad. Kyler overall in his NFL career, September, October, he is 15-9-1, 51 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. November through January, 6-16, 33 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. Like this happens every year, every single year. I'm taking Dallas. Dallas looks like a team that's ready to compete. I mean, they still have a breath of life for the 1 seed. They have the tiebreaker over Green Bay in terms of the conference wins. So if Green Bay loses a game to Minnesota or Detroit and Dallas wins out, the NFC then runs through Dallas. So they still have a whole lot to fight for. At the very least, you'd probably rather see Philadelphia than San Francisco or Arizona. Again, these other teams that are going to have to play on the road on Wild Card Weekend. So I'm big into Dallas right now. -5 doesn't seem like that much. The other thing too, Arizona's defense has kind of become a mess over the past few weeks. People haven't paid attention to that. Zaven Collins, their first-round pick inside linebacker, has since been benched, and now Joe Walker, a former undrafted free agent, is starting there. So there's a lot going on in Arizona, it seems like. And, Nuke going down at the time that he went down only seems to, avalanche this.
Yeah. And it's sort of like you said with Kyle running around. It's like the Cowboys actually have the speed, like the defensive front to actually. Sure do. I guess really anybody, but Kyler can't do his backwards pedaling thing and moving around. These guys are like, okay, they'll just run him down. I mean, Michael Parsons runs a 4.37, and then Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence are no slouches either. God, I almost want to make that my pick of the week. All right, you're gonna be on your own, Justis, when you do the pick of the week segment, because I'm gonna I'm gonna retrograde that one and make that my pick of the week as well. Cowboys -5. But the other games, other one I want to go to, not my pick of the week, but I really like. Oh man, I think this could be a good game, but I think the strengths of the team about to pick is going to take advantage of the weaknesses of the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Chiefs -4.5 at the Bengals. While I do think the Bengals are doing some nice things, Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind right now. He took advantage of the Ravens kind of being diced up on injury-wise, and also they just keep running blitzes and man coverage and all that. I think this Chiefs team is starting to hone in on what they are. Not starting to. They've kind of really have. Their offensive line played really well yesterday, but also just what they're using on offense. It's like, okay, this makes sense. They haven't solved cover 2, as some people want to say. They just more have gone, okay, we like these concepts. Okay, they're running stuff that they ran 2 years ago that they kind of got away from. I think they just refound their image. And then I think their defense is playing really well, really fast. They also have a defensive line with Frank Clark, Melvin Ingram, and Chris Jones that could take advantage of the Bengals' offensive line, which is their big, big weakness. Burrow can make some plays, do all his stuff, but I think this Chiefs team is going to make a statement on them a little bit, even if it's at Cincinnati. They're feeling their love, feeling they're playing for the AFC North. Still think this Chiefs team's a real contender, while the Bengals are more like a wild cardish team. So Chiefs -4.5.
My last pick before pick of the week, and I guess you're gonna have to go after this one for sure. Detroit +8 at Seattle.
I almost picked this one.
Seattle isn't a team that can put enough points on the board, I think, to be able to kind of run this team, off the board. Jared Goff is probably gonna be back off of the COVID list for this game, so you're not gonna get a Tim Boyle light show, Tim Boyle laser show. So Seattle is beaten 3 teams this year by more than a touchdown. Week 1 in Indy. I don't know if you want to count that. Week 1s are super weird. We saw with the New Orleans Green Bay game that has no precedent for any other game that's happened this season. The day after Halloween, they beat Jacksonville that doesn't that doesn't do it for me. And then Houston 3 weeks ago, before Davis Mills decided to be like an actual NFL quarterback. Yeah, exactly. So I think this Detroit Lions team is just hyper motivated. I mean, this smells, tastes, looks, walks like a Detroit game that they're going to have the ball with a chance to win at the very end. They're not going to win, but they sure are going to cover. So I'm going to take Detroit here. I don't like what the Seattle team is doing. They just lost to Chicago at home in the snow. This feels like another one of those sideline cam is panning to Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf arguing type of games. I don't like it at all for Seattle.
Oh, I know. And they can't handle a 4-minute situation, it appears. Like Pete Carroll, they just I ran on it yesterday, but it's just it's unbelievable.
Russ just needs a few more years. He's only been there a decade.
It's the exact same guy I played with at Wisconsin. That's what's so funny. Everyone's like, well, you just got to change the offense. Like, no, this is the Russ offense, and they're gonna be running it. I think so. We already got our picks of the week, me and you, Caitlin. But so this is just my fourth selection, not my pick of the week. I want to disclaim that because I almost went with the Lions. That's so funny because I went with another big favorite. Just so we're talking about crap teams and a pretty good team. This might be too big of a line just based on what the offense is, but I'm going to go Patriots minus 14.5 hosting the Jaguars. Just because I think this Jaguars team is just. Holy crap. It's poor Trevor. He just has to basically hand the ball to everybody because everyone just wants to drop it on him. And then, the line's
Robinson
okay.
just got hurt, too.
And he popped his Achilles. Yep, that's not fun. Glad I traded for him in fantasy. And then also just the Jaguars defense is not really anything to write home about. They have a couple okay players, but they can't cover anyone. We forget. They have played good teams recently. They played the Jets and the Texans recently, and they still look garbage. So I really think that it's going to be a Patriots blowout. I'm just hoping they put enough points, but I think they can because I don't think this Jaguars defense can really threaten them. And I think they'll be able to run the ball and have their way with them. And I think as good as I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be, I think Belichick's, after coming off that loss, is going to be ready to throw some fireballs as they're really, playing for a playoff spot. So Patriots minus 14.5.
There's a very good chance Trevor Lawrence is down 2 scores when he breaks that passing record. Because he's gonna end up getting the franchise single season passing yards record in this game. He's 40 yards away, so he's gonna break it in this game. But he's gonna do it as a team that has 2 or 3 wins at this point in the season, and they're not very good, and they're probably gonna end up losing that game too. My pick of the week, since you guys already went, Nate already touched this one. Los Angeles Rams minus 3.5 at Baltimore. That's my pick of the week. Baltimore allowed Joe Burrow to damn near break the passing yards record for a single game against them. They don't have anyone out there. I mean, I remember against the Green Bay Packers, Chuck Clark was their last preferred starter. He ended up getting put on the COVID reserve list. He's probably coming back. And then Tavon Young went down with an injury, and he was their starting slot. So they legit have scab level lockout year type of talent in the secondary going against this Los Angeles Rams team that when Stafford is healthy, I mean, they look like they're throwing on air. The Odell stuff, Odell redemption arc, it's coming. It's coming, guys. Between Baker flailing and Odell, going against backup corners, it's coming. I'm just letting you guys know. I really do believe in this Rams team. Cincinnati this past weekend locked in, or Joe Burrow did, I should say. He threw more passing yards against a single team over the course of a season than Dan Marino did, and he held the previous record. So Baltimore is just getting hemorrhaged when they actually are going against teams that want to just throw the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
It's short of snow, a thunderstorm, possibly an act of God. I think the Rams are covering this one.
Rams force majeure.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all that we have for Week 17 NFL picks. This was Beat the Odds NFL edition on Odds Checker. We will catch you guys next week.